Welcome back to another episode. Subscribe to the channel right now and make sure you watch the video till the end. There are some rumors that NASA is running from Venus. Are they true? You'll find out in this video, so stay tuned. Despite the fact that there's mounting evidence that Venus was once habitable, and was so similar to our own planet that it's been nicknamed Earth's twin next door, it doesn't really get talked about all that much. Certainly not as much as Mars. But Venus is millions of kilometers closer, so why aren't we interested in colonizing it instead? As this episode of Space Time explains, there's a huge disparity between the kind of attention that Mars and Venus get, both from space agencies around the world, and in popular culture. And that can have a big impact on policy surrounding space exploration. Right now, we've got the US and Chinese governments interested in sending manned missions to Mars. Billionaires want to pay good money to get their own spacecraft there, and NASA's even started searching for potential colonists. But there are currently no manned missions to Venus in discussion at all. Which is kind of odd, when you consider that Venus is more than 14 million kilometers, 8.7 million miles, closer to Earth than Mars is. In fact, as the video above explains, Venus is actually an easier and less costly colonization proposition than Mars is. For one, the round trip from Earth to Venus would be 30 to 50% shorter than it would be to Mars. Just think about how much food, fuel, and time this would save, particularly when we're considering carrying enough supplies over there to set up a habitable environment. Venus is also closer to the Sun, which gives it 4 times more solar energy potential than Mars, and its thick atmosphere offers far better defense from solar radiation and meteorites than Mars' wispy protective layer. Its gravity is also much more similar to Earth's than the gravity of Mars, which means colonists would likely experience less negative effects on their bones. So what gives? Watch the episode of Space Time above to find out why everyone with a say in how we conduct space exploration is biased towards Mars. Let's just say we humans like our surfaces. And while you're at it, here's how a team of dreamers from NASA envisioned Venus colonization a couple of years ago. Basically, forget surfaces, let's all just live in huge, blimp-like airships high up in the clouds. In a paper called Venus Spectral Signatures and the Potential for Life in the Clouds published in March 2018 in the journal Astrobiology, researchers claim that the planet's clouds 47.5, 50.5 km up could host life. The lower cloud layer of Venus is an exceptional target for exploration due to the favorable conditions for microbial life, it reads, the authors also pointing out the environment's moderate temperatures and pressures, but also how little we know about the atmosphere of Venus. Acid-resistant terrestrial bacteria could potentially tolerate the Venus cloud environment, they add. Also contributing to the evidence is that Venus had a habitable climate for at least 750 million years, with liquid water on its surface for 2 billion years. This suggests a geological time frame that is sufficient for life to have evolved in Venus environment, especially when the time estimates required for the evolution of life on Earth are considered, reads the paper. As conditions on Venus' surface warmed and became increasingly inhospitable, life could have migrated to the clouds as the surface water evaporated. So, why don't we take a look? Are there any planned missions to Venus? The likes of NASA and Russia's Roscosmos are always thinking about it, but Venus missions often lose out to competing missions to Mars or more distant moons. However, there are several exciting proposals. The Cloud Taster. Air vehicles or atmospheric rovers that float in the upper atmosphere are what's needed to confirm whether there is indeed microbial life up in the clouds. The Semi-Buoyant and Solar-Powered Venus Aerial Mobile Platform, VAMP, would float down toward the planet almost like a falling leaf from an orbiter, and spend a year sampling the clouds, even using a microscope to identify living microorganisms. It's been suggested that VAMP could form NASA's contribution to the Venerity mission to Venus proposed by Roscosmos. Destined to include an orbiter and a lander, it's likely to launch in the late 2020s. The first problem any surface landing robot is having its electrical systems melt. The most successful lander, the Soviet-era Venera 13 probe, survived for a mere 127 minutes back in 1982. However, NASA has plans for a clockwork rover called the Automaton Rover for Extreme Environments, ARE, that will swap out electronics with a mechanical computer and logic system. It's all a bit steampunk. With data communications impossible, ARE could inscribe phonograph-style records with data, then launch them on a balloon to a high-altitude drone, which would then relay the data back to Earth. How quaint. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss out on our new video upload.